We like to believe we are the masters of our own thoughts. We believe our choices are ours alone, born from our values, our desires, our logic. But what if I told you that the human mind has a back door, a set of master keys that, in the wrong hands, can unlock your deepest insecurities and rewrite your reality without you ever feeling the turn of the key?
This is dark psychology. It isn't magic. It is the cold, calculated application of human nature against itself. Most people use these tools unconsciously, a white lie here, a guilt trip there. But there are those who study the architecture of the mind specifically to dismantle it. Today, we descend. We're going to walk through the 7 levels of the psychological labyrinth, from the subtle nudges of everyday influence to the absolute, chilling darkness of total predatory control. Watch closely, because by the time you reach level 7, you'll realize that the person most at risk of being manipulated is the person who thinks they're immune to it. Level 1. This is the surface. You encounter this every single day. In the boardroom, at the dinner table, in every limited time offer you see online. This is the foot in the door. Think about a time someone asked you for a tiny favor. Something so small it felt rude to say no. A pen, a minute of your time, a small direction. Psychologically, you just open the door. Humans have a hardwired need for consistency. Once we say yes to something small, our brain rebrands us as a helpful person. When a manipulator returns an hour later to ask for something much larger, your brain feels a physical itch to say yes again just to stay consistent with the identity you just created. It's subtle, it's effective, and at this level, it's often harmless. But remember, every mile-long journey into darkness starts with a single, polite step through an open door. We descend. At level 2, the manipulator stops asking for things and starts making you want to give them. They stop targeting your logic and start targeting your heart. The primary weapon here? The guilt trip. Imagine a partner who says, "I was so lonely while you were out with your friends, but I guess my feelings don't matter as much as your fun." They aren't asking you to stay home next time. They are installing a tax on your happiness. They are making your independence feel like a betrayal. Then comes the silent treatment. This isn't just needing space. This is a surgical withdrawal of affection. By going cold, they trigger your primal fear of abandonment. They wait until the silence becomes so deafening that you are the one who crawls back to apologize, even when you did nothing wrong. At level 2, they aren't breaking your mind yet. They are just training you to value their comfort more than your own. Level 3 is where the ground begins to shift. This is gaslighting. The goal here is simple but terrifying, to make you doubt the one thing you rely on most, your own sanity. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. You're being too sensitive. When these phrases are repeated over months and years by someone you trust, your brain begins to short circuit. You stop trusting your eyes. You stop trusting your ears. You start looking to the manipulator to tell you what is real. This level creates a mental fog. A gaslighter will light a fire, and Finguslighter will light a fire and then mock you for smelling smoke. They will hide your keys and then help you find them while sighing about how forgetful you become. Once you lose trust in your own perception, you lose your ability to resist. You become a passenger in your own life, and the manipulator has taken the wheel. We have reached the middle of the labyrinth. To understand level 4, we have to look at the biology of the manipulator. Psychologists call it the dark triad. First, narcissism, the belief that they are a god among insects. To a narcissist, you aren't a person. You are an appliance designed to provide admiration. Second, Machiavellianism, the cold strategist. To them, life is a game of chess. They don't hate you. They just find you useful as a pawn. Third, psychopathy, the absence of conscience. The ability to look you in the eye while ruining your life and feel nothing, not even a spark of guilt. When these 3 traits overlap, you aren't dealing with a difficult person anymore. You are dealing with a predator. They don't see your tears as a reason to stop. They see them as data, evidence that their tactics are working. Level 5 is the construction of a prison. A predator cannot control you if you have a support system, so they begin to cut the threads. Subtly, they poison your relationships. Your mother is always so judgmental of us. Your friends don't really understand you like I do. They create us versus the world. Once you're isolated, the programming begins. They use intermittent reinforcement, treating you like royalty one day and like trash the next. This creates a literal chemical addiction in your brain. You become a gambler, constantly betting your dignity in hopes of winning back the version of them that was kind. At this level, the manipulator is the only person you talk to, the only person you trust, and the only source of love you have left. The prison has no bars, yet you wouldn't dream of leaving. We reach the bottom, levels 6 and 7. This is the darkest of the dark. At level 6, the manipulation becomes strategic predation. The manipulator isn't just controlling you for money or sex or status. They're doing it because they enjoy the process of breaking a human soul. They view your boundaries as challenges and your secrets as blackmail. And then there is level 7, malignant narcissism. This is the point of no return. This is the ego death of the victim. At this level, the manipulator doesn't even need you anymore. Their ultimate goal is your total social, financial, and psychological destruction. They want to see the candle of your spirit go out. To them, destroying you is the ultimate proof of their power. It is the final victory in a game only they were playing. At level 7, the darkness is absolute. There is no empathy left. There is only the void. We have walked the path. It's a heavy journey, isn't it? But there is a reason we look into the abyss. The greatest weapon a manipulator has is your ignorance. They rely on you not knowing the name of the game they're playing. But now you have the map. If someone makes you doubt your reality, that's gaslighting. If someone cuts you off from your family, that's isolation. If someone makes you feel guilty for being happy, that's manipulation. Knowledge is the light that burns away the fog. Trust your gut. Build your boundaries high. And remember, your mind belongs to you. No one else has the keys unless you give them away. Stay vigilant. Stay aware, and above all, stay free.